Hey guys, it's Paradise, and with so many people struggling with the difficulty of Shadow of the Erdtree, what if I told you there was a way to melt pretty much everything that can bleed in seconds? Do you want to nuke Mesmer with 16k damage per cast?
Nice.
Or do you want to destroy the Divine Beast in complete easy mode?
Wow.
Or kill mobs without even trying? Well, this new spell, the Impenetrable Thorns, is basically busted, and when combined with a certain staff, you can destroy pretty much everything nearly instantly. Firstly, I want to shout out and tell you to check out Cyrobe, who figured all of this out. They tested every staff in the game, did a bunch of testing and insane work over on their channel to discover this, so if you want to learn more about the math behind it and the details as to why this works, please check him out with the link below. If you just want to see the build and all of the items to make this work for yourself though, don't worry, we've got you covered, but act fast because there is no way this isn't getting nerfed. First up, you're going to need the Impenetrable Thorns sorcery spell, a new one in Shadow of the Erdtree. You want to start at the Dark Chamber entrance just outside of the Mesmer boss fight's room. Turn around and head down the stairs all the way to the bottom and out onto the bridge area. From here, go across the bridge and to the right and down the stairs, killing the shadow enemies on the way. You'll then see a shadow enemy looking out over the edge. Run up and kill him and look down where you'll see a platform underneath. You want to walk slowly off the edge so that you fall onto the lower platform, and watch out for the bat below, so you may as well kill it. On this platform against the wall, you will see a body with a glowing item, and this is the sorcery that lets you do all of this crazy stuff. This sorcery is pretty interesting as it requires 24 faith to use, even though it's a sorcery and not an incantation, so you need a staff. The spell itself sends 3 thorns out in front of you that spread in a cone shape. However, if you're close to an enemy when casting this, the thorns will erupt as soon as they come in contact with a target, dealing the full damage and applying bleed. So if you pump your arcane stat up, you can instantly bleed a target with just a single cast of this spell, making it so overpowered. Because of this bleed damage and stacking your arcane stat, you will need a staff that scales with arcane, and this is where you combine this new spell with the Maternal Staff and the real magic happens. This staff has insane scaling with this spell as well as bleed buildup, even more than the Arekkz staff that has S rank scaling but has previously been nerfed. The new Maternal Staff is therefore the best option, and you get this by completing Ymir's questline until eventually you get to beat him and he will drop this staff for you. This questline is really cool and very rewarding because you actually get the Knight Katana from it depending on which option you pick at the end, and we have a full walkthrough of this on the channel so you know exactly how to do the entire quest to get this staff and the katana. After this, you want to farm the Staff of the Guilty for your offhand. This is a staff that gives you bonus damage to Thorn Sorcery, making it synergize perfectly. You can get this by starting at the Seathwater Terminus Grace Point in the base game and running northwest to these red enemies, holding the staff with it on fire. There's a load of them in this area and each one has a chance to drop it. I actually got it on my second respawn, so I'll send good luck vibes your way so hopefully you can farm it just as quick as I did. There is an alternate way to run this though. You can swap your staff and your offhand around in their slots and use a weapon in your primary slot with the Endure Ashe of War that gives you massive damage negation and poise resistance, so you can cast the spell immediately after using Endure without getting knocked over. This means you can Unga Bunga face tank hits and still cast the spell to deal the insane damage. I personally found this a little unnecessary, as a well-timed dodge and casting afterwards kinda does the same thing, but with the Staff of the Guilty in your offhand you deal even more damage. However, even with this OP weapon, if you're struggling, you can still use the Endure Ashe of War because it does work together and makes everything extremely easy. After this, you want to use the Dragon Communion Seal, as this lets you use incantation buffs and it scales with arcane. I suggest memorizing the Golden Vow, as this raises your attack and defense, which your spell does benefit from the attack bonus, and of course more defense is really good. The Bestial Vitality incant is also great for passive health regen because the spell itself does use up some of your HP each cast. Finally, slot in the Impenetrable Thorn spell, and you're almost ready to become OP. I actually tested various talismans and items so I could confirm what's best to bring. The white mask does in fact increase your thorn damage after proccing a bleed, which will be instantly when casting it, so bring the white mask and whatever armor you want. Of course, the higher resistance the better, so I'm using Radan's armor as I still have a medium roll with this armor set. For talismans, the Graven Mass talisman will boost the power of your sorceries, making the spell hit harder. The Lord of Blood's Exaltation says it raises attack power with blood loss in the vicinity, but it actually does increase your thorn damage too, so this is a no-brainer. Then I suggest using Radagon's Icon, as this gives you a massive virtual dex bonus, which increases your casting speed massively. You can use the new beloved Stardust talisman that you get from the same questline to get the Maternal Staff, however this lowers your damage mitigation massively. I believe in the base game it's around a 30% damage debuff, which is way too much. It's not that bad in Shadow of the Erdtree because of the Skadu Tree's blessing that helped counteract it, but honestly I don't think it's worth it. The Radagon's Icon is still great. Finally, you have a slot to use what is situationally best. The Dragon Crest Great Shield is great for physical damage negation, and the Pearl Drake is great for non-physical damage negation. Furthermore, I tested talismans that affect charge attacks and spells, like the Axe Talisman and Godfrey's Icon, but the Thorn spell isn't a charge spell, so these don't apply. And then finally you have your stats. For this you want to increase your arcane to 80 or at least 70, and this will allow the bleed to proc instantly, dealing massive damage. I suggest having 50 or 60 vigor, so you have a nice chunk of HP for tanking hits and using the spell itself. For mind, you only need around 17, which will be enough to buff yourself and cast the thorns a few times. For endurance, 25 is a nice spot for me. It means you have enough stamina to dodge and cast, and lets you equip all of the items and armor that I have. For this, you don't need any strength, but you do want some dexterity, ideally around 10 to 20, as this does slightly increase your cast speed. For intelligence, you will need 21, as this is a requirement of the staff, and ideally you want 25 faith, as the Impenetrable Thorn skill will need 24, but with just that one extra point to 25, you can also use the Golden Vow incant, which is really good. And there you have it. You just stand next to an enemy and watch as you press a button, they bleed and their health melts and you can spam it. Again, a big shout out to Cyrobe for figuring all of this out. It's absolutely insane, but I do expect this will be nerfed soon, but for now it's very, very fun. Drop a like if we've helped you out, and comment to let us know if you've tried it, and subscribe for more Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree coming your way very soon.